Don't mind me while I move these boxes out of the way, guys, because I don't like them being in my shot. But how y'all doing? My name is Jared Fuller, aka the Jared Bear, and this is a Sunday video update for Sunday, August 11th, 2024. Dad went uptown to get something for supper. I don't know what he plans on getting tonight for supper, but yeah, that's what he went to do. But he will be back, and he may or may not be a part of the Sunday video update this week. But I'm so glad that you are, and I'm glad that you're here. So joining me off camera that you hear coughing in the background potentially is Amy, whom of which celebrated a birthday yesterday. And they went to the Owasso Speedway last night. But
it was great. It was a great birthday show.
Yeah, she had a great time.
Even had vehicles with smoke coming out of them. One that hit the wall and had fire coming out of it.
But I am so glad that you're all here this week. There's a lot to talk about. So it was on the 8th. Let's see, 3 days ago. Saturday, Friday, Thursday. Thursday was the 8th. So I got up early in the morning because I had to use the bathroom. It was like 4:30 in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning. I had to get up to go to the bathroom. And Dad was sitting on the couch. He was in agony, and he was moaning in agony. And when I came out of the bathroom, I found out that his elbow was really swollen. And I said, "Well, come on, Dad, I'm taking you to ER. I'm taking you to the hospital." So we got to Owasso Hospital Memorial at about 4:30, and they got him right back. They took his vitals, took his information, got him in, right back into a room like almost instantly. Didn't take long. And they had given him some Toradol, 15 milligrams of Toradol. They gave him a shot in the arm, and then they had given him 1,000 milligrams of Tylenol for the pain. And the Toradol was supposed to act as an anti-inflammatory, I think, for the elbow. Well, neither of those medications worked. So they had to take this long needle and drain the fluid out of my dad's elbow because he had what's called bursitis. And what it is you have like fluid pockets in your joints, like your elbows and your kneecaps. So that way it helps, to bend your arms and your legs and stuff. Dad had some inflammation going on there, and they had to drain the fluid off of his elbow. And oh my God, I didn't, I could feel the pain. Dad he was like, son of a, and I told him, I said, just swear, Dad, just swear, just do it. They had they had an ultrasound, and a transducer was on his elbow. The transducer, of course, is the wand that they use that transmits the sound waves back into the computer. But they had a transducer on his elbow so they could see where the fluid was while simultaneously draining the fluid with the needle. And boy, oh boy, he was in pain. However, I guess he's starting to get back on his feet, and he's starting to recover. He's doing better. The swelling has gone down.
A little higher every day.
He's because the doctor told him, to keep that range of motion with your elbow, so that way, you don't want it to stiffen up. He's been wearing an ace bandage and a brace, and I guess he's doing better. Huh? Oh, yeah, and he's taking Motrin. Motrin with ibuprofen. Yeah.
That's when it actually started doing good.
Yeah.
Before that, he was still in a lot of pain trying to
Yeah.
move it and everything.
A lot of pain. Yeah.
And then he started taking those 2 a day.
Yeah. And I told him, if it works, take them. I know Motrin does wonders for me. It really helps when I'm in pain of any kind. The Motrin really does the trick. I had personally for myself, because I had to take Dad to the hospital. We didn't get home until 10 o'clock that morning. And when we got back home, I was tired. But then I had to take Amy to Owasso because she had an appointment. So I made 2 trips to Owasso in the same day.
Just to find out I got an infection in my foot.
She-
I had surgery on in the 28th.
Yeah, she's got an infection in her foot. When I came home that day, I was just so fucking tired. I slept. And I don't know. I was just so zonked. I mean, I was up early, had a very early start, but I told Dad, if you got to go, you got to go. So, what else happened last week? I went for my physical last week. They didn't even touch me. All they did was they measured me. They took my height, weight, all that. I don't know if I lost weight. I don't know if I gained weight. They asked a bunch of questions. They didn't really do any other physical testing or anything like that, which is fine by me. I'm not complaining. But I did have to get labs done on Wednesday up here in Chesaning, which they are phenomenal. The ladies up there at the lab clinic are just the best. They do such an amazing job with labs. And then I got the call on Thursday while Amy was in her appointment. I was sitting in the parking lot, that my lab results came back good. So, which I didn't have any doubt, but it's a bit of good news to pass along. So yeah, there was a lot that happened last week, and Dad, I think, is starting to make a recovery. He's on the rebound. He went uptown, I think, because he did mention something about getting supper tonight, trying to figure out what he wanted for supper tonight. So he'll probably be walking through the door within the next hour. Well, maybe before 4 o'clock, but I don't know. No guarantees. Oh, he had another place he had to stop. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Over to Tony's neighbor who lives just down the road here. But yeah, it's been a busy week. And today it feels like fall. It doesn't even feel like summer. It feels a lot like fall. The temperature dropped. I don't have my phone with me, or else I'd find out what the temperature was. Actually, I can Google that real quick. Give me 1 second, guys. I can tell you. Currently, I can tell you how warm it is. Let's see. It's 73 in Saginaw County. Okay. It's supposed to be we're supposed to get a high of 75 today. Monday, high of 81, 81 Tuesday, 83 Wednesday, 84 Thursday, 78 Friday with showers and thunderstorms. And then Saturday and Sunday, we're going to get rain. Saturday, high of 80. And then next Sunday, a week from today, a high of 76. So, yeah, it felt a lot like fall yesterday. And today, it's not too bad. So I hope you all had a wonderful week. We got some comments in chat. Of course, chewing off my toenail, none other than the comments. He comes in every week and he'll leave like 3 or 4 comments. They're humorous. I don't take issue with that at all. I have a sense of humor. But this week he says, my toenail is long and pointy, which means that there's nothing left for me to do than to chew it off. That's one comment. Comment number 2, have you ever clutched a beautiful strawberry with a sharp toenail? I don't like using toothpicks anymore. That's what he says. And then the final one, sometimes I will use a chewed off toenail to hula hoop a stack of Cheerios. Thank you, toenail. That just having that image in my head, using a toenail to hula hoop Cheerios. Well, why not? Why not Fruit Loops? Why not Apple Jacks? You got something against Kellogg's? I shouldn't encourage them, but it's just too funny. Thank you.
It's good to have a laugh every Sunday
Yeah,
as soon as you pop on the screen.
yeah. It's cute. It's funny. Thank you, Toenail, for the humor. As for this week, I'm not sure what's going on. I know that there's an event in Caseville, Michigan called Cheeseburger in Caseville. I was invited by my cousin to actually go up there to Caseville and spend a weekend with him or whatever. I don't know if I have the money to go to Caseville because it's quite a ways. It's in the Thumb region of Michigan, so it's quite a drive. I'd have to go up through Bay City. But because I missed them this year at the Davis reunion. We didn't go to the Davis reunion because we didn't get the invitation. I think they sent the invitation, but I think some other people who were staying here for fucking free had ended up withholding the invitation to where we didn't get it. So, yeah, I think that's what happened because if Dad would have gotten the invitation, I would have known. Yeah, and we would have gone to the Davis reunion. But my cousin Jacob Butterfield, hello Jacob, he lives in Caseville, and he and his son Sebastian, cute kid, he invited me up there, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it or not. I would really like to go, but I've got a lot of other things I got to do here at home. I got to still trying to get this yard cleaned up. We got it cleaned up for the most part. And with Dad's recent elbow injury, I really don't want him out there doing anything strenuous, although he is making a comeback. He's making a nice recovery. But I want him to also take it easy and to pace himself. We have until the 19th, 8 days away, to get the rest of the shit cleaned up, which means that we have to get all that shit out of the kennel, which, by the way, is not our shit. We have to move that to the backyard. Yeah, we got a tent in the front yard, which is also not ours. We've got a lot of work to do yet, and we've got to do it in 8 days. Thing is, we've also got some like tall weeds out here and some rubbish from the fire that also needs to be cleaned up, buried. There's just so much work to do. And with it being so hot, and as I pointed out, Dad's injury, we really, it's hard to do some of these things a lot of the time. And we're just not going to let anybody stay with us anymore because they think they can do whatever the fuck they want at a house and a residency that's not theirs. So, and I tried to tell Dad, I tried to tell him, but Dad didn't listen to what I was trying to explain to him. And then things kind of blew out of proportion. Well, not kind of, they did blow out of proportion. But I try not to give him too hard of a time about it. But I kept telling him though, Amy. I kept telling him.
I knew it was there. I told him he had fluid on his arm a couple months ago.
No, I'm talking about the situation with him letting everything get as bad as it did around here. Yeah. I tried to tell him, Dad, you got to put your foot down and start doing something, or it's only going to get worse. Well, he didn't listen, and like usual, and that's what happens. But so now he's got to take it. He's got to take it easy. But I mean, if he's making a recovery, I want him to be able to recover. I want to be out there as much as I can. Yes, I'm allergic to the sun, but the shit is not going to clean up itself. And Dad shouldn't have to be out there doing all the work by himself. So I'm going to do what I got to do to go out there and help him and do the best I can. Anyway, before it rains, because according to the forecast I just read, our next chance of rain and thunderstorms is on Friday. So we got a while. We got about 5 days. But yeah, there's just so much to do and such a little time to do it, because if we don't get it done by the 19th, then we're going to get fined again by the township. And this time it's going to be more than the amount we paid the first time around, which we shouldn't even had to have paid that, but we did. And Dad, he says, well, it's not even my stuff. I understand that, Dad, but it's on your property. That's all it takes. Um, and that's kind of the thing that bugs me too, Amy, because I could see if you lived in the city, I could see if you lived in the village, like within village limits, city limits. Yeah, there's a thing called blight when you're in the city, when you're in town. I can understand being fined or have a citation issued for blight and garbage and shit, around the yard on the property.
Yeah, you would think they do more of that, like in town.
Yeah.
Not in the freaking country.
But in the country where nobody should really give a fuck.
Besides people going down the road.
Yeah, I mean,
which is the inspector, he goes by in a little black car.
Yeah, it's the township assessor who goes by and he, looks at the properties, and it's just, to me, it's a crock of shit, really, because we pay the taxes on this property and we're being told by a total fucking stranger that we got to clean up our yard or we're going to get fined. And I mean, we're in the country. Who's going to give a fuck, really? I mean, we're on a back road. Who's going to care? I don't see why anybody would ever complain about a yard. And I'm not saying that I don't mind the house being messy or the yard being messy. I do mind it. I would rather my house be clean on the inside and the outside. But, we're not going to just snap our fingers and get it done overnight. It takes time. And there's a lot of things to clean, a lot of shit to clean up around here. We're not going to just do it overnight. But we're in the country. The point is that we're in the country. Nobody should give a fuck. Nobody should care. I mean, how many people do we actually have going up and down our road? The volume of traffic, although we are a mile off the highway, believe it or not, the traffic on our road is not busy unless there's an accident on the highway and then they make you detour up to our road, or they take you a mile in the other direction. But on a normal daily basis, our road is not a main road. It's not busy. And even if people do go by here and can see into our yard, who's going to care? Who's going to care? It's not like, I'm not having such a bad day where I'm just going to drive by someone's house nonchalantly and think to myself, gee, I think I should turn them into the fucking township for all the garbage in their yard. I couldn't care less. I have better things to do with my time and my life than to be so petty to turn someone in for having a yard that's messy. That's just me, though. That's just me. I think it's stupid, but, now the township assessor has taken notice. So now we have to clean the yard. Now we don't have a choice, or we're going to get fined again. But like I said, I'm going to be out there helping Dad as much as I can. I'm just going to have to tolerate the heat and humidity if humidity is going to be a thing in the future, because it's supposed to get warm again, like really warm. I'm just going to have to stick it out and muscle through it and try to get it cleaned up. And I'm back on my Celexa again. There was a period of time when I didn't take my Celexa. I'm still on 10 milligram. I've taken one pill every day since I've gotten it, and I am noticing a difference. And I think Dad and Amy are noticing a difference as well. Yeah, it is making a difference. It is helping. But I will agree with what a couple of my friends said about Celexa, and that is it numbs your brain. Like you don't think about things, or you don't react in the way that you should to sad things or to happy things, whatever. It just kind of numbs your brain. I agree to an extent that it does. Like I think about my mom every day, and I can talk about Mom right now after having taken my medication. I'm sad that she's gone, but I don't have the urge to cry or to even shed a tear. And it's not to say that I don't love and miss my mom, because I do. It's just that with this medication, it helps to regulate the emotions. So I'm not in constant deep thought about my mom because I've been thinking about her a lot lately. And I'm glad that I was able to be put back on this medication when I could be because it's been rough lately. Um, Here in a couple of months, it's going to be a year since mom's been gone. And I don't know, I don't know how I'm going to take that day. I'm still going to take my medication, but I know it's going to be a rough day, even on mom's birthday, which is October 3rd. She would have been 62.
And that one I know how you feel there because I lost my adopted mom.
Yeah.
She was born on October 3rd.
Yeah. So it's going to be a rough time in the next couple of months. But I got my Celexa, and hopefully it'll kind of numb the feeling a little
You
bit.
see a difference in me, Jared, it's because of the fact that here in today's what the 11th,
August 11th. That's today's date.
4 days is the day my dad passed away.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard, but
It happens every year after my birthday. I'll slip into a little
Yeah.
bump in the road, as I would call it.
Yeah.
A speed bump.
And it's always going to be hard no matter what. Like I can take all the medication in the world, although I'm not a druggie, but I could take all the medication in the world, but there's no medication to cure a broken heart. There's just not. And
They think putting you on antidepressants is going to help, but that memory is always going to keep coming.
yeah, the memory will always be there. For sure. Something terrible happened to me this morning, actually. Not a very good moment. So I was sitting at my kitchen table and I was eating crackers and butter sandwiches. And I bit into it just right, and a piece of my tooth had broken off. So now I got a cavity. Now I'm going to have to go see a dentist because if not, then I can imagine it's going to be painful because I can feel it with my tongue. Oh yeah, I can feel it with my tongue, the cavity, and that the rest of the tooth that's still there. It's really like razor sharp. Yeah, I can feel it. But I wasn't expecting that to happen. I was eating my butter and cracker sandwiches, and then I had come up to a hard piece. It's like, what the hell? And I took it out, and it's like, holy fuck, that's part of my tooth. I threw it away, but it's like, what the hell? My fucking teeth are breaking off. So yeah, that's going to be a future dentist appointment. I'm not really a fan of the dentist, but it happens. That's life, I guess.
One of Montrose ain't bad at all.
No, they're pretty good. Dental Care in Michigan and Montrose, they're pretty good.
And they actually sent me a text yesterday to
Really?
remember.
They email me. Excuse me. Didn't mean to yawn on you guys. They email me from time to time. They'll send me emails and they'll say, well, it's time for your next dental checkup. I haven't been in there in quite some time, actually. I need to get back in though. I gotta
I know I gotta go in and have my gums checked.
I gotta put on my big boy panties and I gotta put on my big boy underwear and not be afraid of the dentist and just man up and go in and get the shit done. I've been through far worse than a dentist. Speaking of which, we are a month before September, which most anybody watching this knows that September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Now, if you're friends with me on Facebook, cool. Thank you. But I'm not going to be posting gold ribbons on Facebook. I will talk about my experiences with childhood cancer, what I'm able to remember, the stories that my mom has told me, and stories that I've written down, recorded of events that she has told me. I'll have information from Dr. Scott, which I also kept on for my own personal record. I have lots of information from Dr. Scott. And just just recently, I had gotten my immunization record when I went in for my physical. I didn't know. See, it blew me away because my records indicate that I had a polio vaccination in 1988. I didn't know that kids in the 80s were still being vaccinated against polio in the 80s. I never knew it.
Same with the 90s.
But yeah, I had the polio vax when I was 2. I had the varicella vaccination, which is used to treat chickenpox. I had that back in 1992. And yeah, because I was 6 years old at the time. And I guess my records show that I have some other vaccinations I have to get, but COVID being one of them, which I'm not getting the COVID vax. So if you're gonna hate on me in chat, don't. I'm not getting the COVID vax. But there are some other vaccinations I guess I'm due for.
I got the shots and still came down with it, so.
Yeah. But yeah, interesting. It's interesting stuff for sure. But Childhood Cancer Awareness Month is coming up next month, August. Like I said, I'll talk about my memories, a lot of things I can remember from my cancer checkups. And of course, I've got recorded documentation from my mom telling me stories about when we found out and how we found out. And I've got some information from Dr. Scott too. So I'm gonna contact him too and see if I can get a little more information. Although I think Dr. Scott is retired, but he still has my file with all my information, with all of the papers that mom and dad had to sign to give them permission to administer the chemo and the radiation. Those papers are still in my file. Because I even tried calling Sparrow themselves and asking questions. Oh, we destroyed those records after 25 years. Bullshit, because Dr. Scott, believe it or not, still has my yellow folder from 1989. All the paperwork is there. But now that he's retired, I mean, I can email him, and it's like, I'm just looking for some extra information, so that way, the more I know about what I went through, the more that I can explain to somebody else who might be going through something similar, and I'll have that information readily available, and I'll be confident in my answers to questions that I have. Like just recently, a little cancer warrior asked me if I had experienced any symptoms from radiation, which I can imagine I did, but too little to remember. But I told him specifically, sore throat, I may have. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that I did experience some kind of a symptom from radiation and chemo, especially chemo, because both are very extremely potent. And I know I had some kind of, symptom. I had to have. I mean, radiation, like I said, is really potent. Um, I remember mom telling me that I had to hold completely still, and they would I had to put my arms up over my head like this, and they would tape my wrist to the table. They would put a big piece of tape across my forehead onto the table, and then they would tape my ankles down so I couldn't move. Like I was completely still. I could breathe, but I had to be completely still, which is weird that they would tape me to the table considering that there's radiation masks. But I don't know if they put on a radiation mask because I was only 2.
They may have.
I don't know if did they have radiation masks in the 80s?
Yeah, they probably did, buddy.
Because that's when I had the cancer, 1989. Let me take a look. That's what I love about Google. I can just look this shit up. When did radiation masks come out? A radiation mask let's see, what is a radiotherapy mask? For most types of radiotherapy to your brain, head, or neck area, you wear a radiotherapy mask during each treatment. This is sometimes also called a mold head, shell, or cast. The mask is made to hold your head and neck still in exactly the right position, of course, which I already knew that. When were they introduced? I know I had Broviac, according to Dr. Scott. I had a Broviac line. And Broviac was patented after a nephrologist named John Broviac from East Lansing. It was patented in 1973. And I read a lot of posts about Broviac, the Broviac line. I couldn't find any information on when the masks were introduced. I may have had a mask. Mom said I wore like safety goggles. I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Dad might know, but I don't know if Dad was ever at my appointments when I had chemo and radiation. He may have been, but I don't know, because I know Dad worked a lot. He was working at Thompson Boats in St. Charles at the time. So, but yeah, I mean,
And like he said too, it's hard with having strokes and heart attacks
yeah.
and stuff that he had.
But yeah, there's a lot to go over next month, Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. I used to put together videos for my YouTube channel. I don't know, I might just kind of talk about where I'm at with that and how things have changed. I'm not an advocate. I don't get involved with advocacy. Haven't for about 5 years now. I'm just trying to live my life and to show other people that it's possible that you can go on living your life and, not have that constantly, a part of your life. Now, when I go to Lansing, East Lansing, yeah, that's always going to make me think about my checkups or Sparrow or going to, MSU radiology or going to Sparrow St. Lawrence over on Saginaw Street. I'm going to have all those flashbacks. But luckily, I can also remember the good points of Lansing, which there are quite a few good points about Lansing that I enjoy. Potter Park Zoo. I just like going to Lansing. It's not just Potter Park Zoo, but there's all different kinds of
Mall, but I don't know if they still have the mall.
oh, my ear itches.
That's what I like is the mall, but I don't know if they still
Frandor,
have it.
the Frandor Shopping Center, that's still there. They got the Lansing Mall. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
I think it's still there. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. But there's a lot of places in Lansing I like to visit. I go to the park. There's a park behind I think I want to it's behind the Red Cedar River. And it's off of Washington. It's called Moore's Park, I think. And you drive in the back or you go down the street. Moore's Park Drive is the name of the street. And then it dead ends at the park. Yeah, it is the Red Cedar River. Yeah, because you got the smoke or the wink and blink and a nod, the three towers right next to the river, which the Eckerd Auto plant in Lansing, it's Board of Water and Light, the Lansing Board of Water and Light. It is their electric company. So yeah, I like to go to the park. Canadian geese and ducks everywhere. It's a nice park. It's a big park. And they got like bike paths and walking trails and things like that. It's really nice. I want to go to Potter Park Zoo again, but I haven't been there in ages. I haven't been there since I was 16 years old, I think. 16 or 17 years old. It's been a long time, about 20 years. But when I go to Lansing, I always drive by there. When I go down Pennsylvania, I always go by Potter Park Zoo because it's just right down the street from Sparrow. That's why it's so easy for me to remember. But, not everything about Lansing is terrible. It does, like I said, yes, it does bring back some of the memories, like when I would get referrals to the main Sparrow Hospital or over to Sparrow St. Lawrence on Saginaw Street. Even when I go to East Lansing, I would think about the little butterfly needles. I still have those minor flashbacks when I'm in the city, but it's just Lansing has been a part of my life for 35 years. I can't escape it. And some things just can't be helped, I guess. But I'm always happy to answer questions when I have the information readily available, which again, like I said, I'll have to contact Dr. Scott and find out if he could give me any more information about that, because I know he's got all of my paperwork in that yellow folder, the consent forms that mom and dad had to sign. And I'm sure somewhere in that stack of paperwork, he would have the amounts of each of the chemos that I've had to take, because I had 3 different chemotherapies. So I'm sure somewhere it's written in the regimen where I had so many milligrams of vincristine, so many milligrams of red devil, so many milligrams of actinomycin. So it's got to be written somewhere, because they would have to have had administered that. It's got to be on record somewhere for them to know how much to give me. So that's going to be the one thing that I'm going to email him and ask him if he knows, if he's got that information in his folder. I just kind of went off the rails there talking about things, but that's kind of how it works. But it's actually good to have that information. I like to get some more of the, because Dr. Scott is no spring chicken, and it's no insult to Dr. Scott because he saved my life, but he's not as young as he used to be, and he's getting up there in age. He's getting on in years, and I want to get some of this information from him before something should happen. And I want to know more about my past health. But I'm going to email him and find out what he says, because the more information I have, the better off I'm going to be, and the better equipped I'm going to be to have an answer for a warrior when they ask me a question. Like I said, a little boy had recently asked me if I had ever had a sore throat or any symptom from radiation. And while I'm not confident that I did, I probably did, but I'm not confident enough to say that I know for sure that I did. But I wouldn't doubt that I did, because radiation is a very potent procedure. And so is chemo, obviously. But anyway, I'm just rambling, just ranting. I don't know what this week has in store, but tonight, the Fox Sunday Flashback goes on the air at 7 o'clock with my good old buddy, old pal, Dan Richards. And he has taken your requests. ClassicFox.com. You can listen live from anywhere in the world. The station is in Flint, Michigan on Miller Road. And you can hear it from anywhere in the world through the internet. So, I don't know if I probably should put a link in the chat underneath of chewing off my toenails comments. What a guy. So, let's see here. I've been using my internet quite a bit lately. Mary Jane's, the song playing right now, Mary Jane's Last Dance by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. It's a good song. So, okay. Listen, I'm putting that link in the chat right now. Listen to the Fox Sunday Flashback with Dan Richards. Okay. And that is at 7 o'clock tonight and goes until 11? 10? No, it goes till 11, doesn't it? Yeah, 11. See, I should know this now that I'm back home. I've been listening every fucking week. I should know how long it goes for. But the link is in the chat. So make sure you listen tonight. I listen to it right here at my computer. And I tell Dan every week, like, hey man, you played a song that I never fucking heard before, which blows me away. And I'm sure tonight will be no different. He'll play something I have never heard in my life, and I'm going to add more music to the collection because I have 7,626 songs now because I just added like 6 more songs, and every song was by a group called Imagine Dragons. Someone out there in YouTube world has heard of Imagine Dragons.
No,
You
I
ha-
got YouTube.
I've heard of a few of their songs. Believer. I've heard of Believer. That's a good song. And I think Thunder. Thunder sounds familiar. But Believer for sure. Because I've heard that song in a commercial. The song Believer. Matter of fact, I think when I heard that song, I Shazammed it with my phone and it came up as Imagine Dragons. So it's like, okay, so that's who Imagine Dragons is. Like prior to that commercial, I had only heard the name Imagine Dragons, but it's like, who the fuck are they? I don't know who Imagine Dragons are. Their music it's not half bad. I know the kids like it. The kids like Imagine Dragons. Um, and the same cancer warrior who asked me if I had experienced symptoms from radiation, he suggested that I download all of these songs and email the MP3s to him because he likes Imagine Dragons. It's like, not a problem, buddy. I can do that for you. So now, not only did I download the songs to email to him, to that young man, but I also have those songs in my collection, which I'm almost I have almost got 7,630 songs. It's a lot of music, and it's a wonder I can memorize all of it. I can't. There's songs that I haven't heard in ages, but I know they're in my collection, my library. Um,
Some that you hadn't heard until after you were born.
well, I mean, since
Like the 60s and 70s.
since I've been collecting music, because back when Uncle Rick was still around and I had my old Gateway computer, my Windows XP Gateway, that's when I was collecting music. And I could only fit so many songs on a flash drive back then, and I could only fit so many songs into the library back then. But now that I've got audio editing software and I can convert WAV to MP3, now I've been very creative and selective, which the selection of my music collection now is very, very wide. It's expansive. It's growing every day, seemingly. But there's a lot of songs. So when someone says, "Hey, you got this song by such and such?" Yeah, I think I got it. Let me check. I mean, I've got over 7,600 songs. I'm pretty sure I might have it. Chances are likely that I've got the song. Um, and like I said, there's just songs I haven't heard in forever. Like Huey Lewis and the News. It's like, wow, I do have Huey Lewis and the News. I've got Billy Joel. I've got Journey and 38 Special, and of course the Beatles, Elvis, and the Stones. Um, I got country music. I got rap songs. I got R&B, hip hop. I got it all. I think everything but um, opera. I'm not an opera fan, but basically the music that we all know. Like if there's some note that I've heard time and time and time again, like something by Beethoven or Chopin or whoever, it's like, yeah, that I'll add that just to be, different and offsetting. Um, yeah, my collection's not plugged in right now. My flash drive is in my bedroom, but yeah, there's always something I hear. There's something different I hear. Like there's a song called Situation by Yazoo. It come out in the 80s and it's being featured in a, a recent commercial. And it's like, wow, they're using a song from way back in the day for a commercial. Which, okay, cool. No problemo. But Yeah, I got everything in my collection. All kinds of good music. So this week, I don't know. I'm tomorrow I might be going out to the Pine Run, and I might be. I'd like to if I can.
Told Dan I'd like to go with you. Back out there.
Um,
More than welcome.
yeah, I don't. It's not my bar. It's not Billy's anymore.
No, it's just Dad don't want me.
Yeah,
He considers that a day for you two.
yeah. It's like I don't go to the racetrack. Not just because that's yours and Dad's getaway.
It's almost over.
That's your oasis, your getaway. But I'm just not really a racing fan. But however, when I go out to Lansing on my joyrides, I go by the Owasso Speedway. I go down Carlin Road and I notice the big difference. They've taken some houses out, they've cleared out a lot of woods. So they're expanding. Owasso Speedway has expanded and they continue to expand. And I guess the guy who owns it, he's got some serious dough. He's got the fuck you money.
Oh yeah, he's even bought out people that live on that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. The houses have been cleared, and they made money selling their property. They made a pretty penny, just like the folks on Owasso. Because I remember years ago at 52 and King Street, back when Pudgy's was still there, Sunoco, and Bannon's IGA was still there. Those were rows of houses right there at King and 52. That was before they cleared out, they cleared out the area, and then they put in that new the new part or the addition of Memorial in the front. So now you can access the hospital from M52. Years ago you couldn't. You had to actually go down King Street and then turn off into the side parking lot where the revolving door was. Now they're just sliding doors, or you would have to go right to the emergency. But now you can actually access the hospital from M52, which they should have done that before, maybe. It would have made things a hell of a lot easier than making an extra turn down a side street. But I remember when those were all houses right there, a whole row of houses. And then they Memorial bought it, all of it. And then they cleared it out and they expanded. And so now they've got the cancer center, the gastroenterology, or however the fuck you say it. I know I'm saying it wrong. But there's a cancer center up in front now. For those of you who don't know, there's a cancer center up in front, which is great. I mean, it's good. And then the portion of the building where you go, the new addition, and they got a skywalk. It's like you're not Sparrow. Sparrow has a skywalk. It takes you right across Michigan Avenue. It takes you from the main hospital over to subspecialties. You walk the skywalk. I've walked that skywalk many times. And yes, I know I'm talking about Lansing again. But yeah, Memorial's trying to be like Sparrow. And Sparrow 35 years ago, I would have, I'd praise them with every fiber of my being. But nowadays, no, not after the way they treated me. No, they can fuck off. But they have merged with U of M. Sparrow has merged with now it's called University of Michigan Health Sparrow. That's what it's called. So, but it is a teaching hospital. It's always been a teaching hospital, which I'll give credit where it's due. That's what I liked about Sparrow. Even when I went there, I found out, years later, not only are they a teaching hospital, but they are a participating Children's Miracle Network hospital. And of course, I remember going to one year I went to Jersey Mike Subs in East Lansing, and I bought a bunch of balloons, those Children's Miracle Network balloons. Oh, I went to town on those. And I told them about my health history, and it's like, yeah, I was treated at Sparrow and went to MSU Radiology for my checkups and for all my treatments and stuff. And they were really thrilled. But the thing that pisses me off nowadays is that you get people like me. We get jostled and kind of shoved to the back when it comes to participatory anything to do with childhood cancer. And of course, the inner circle, the circle jerk of people who think that they're so better and so superior to everybody else. Those are for you. If you call it a community, which it's not a community, I think that's the most toxic word you could use. If you're going to call it a community, at least behave like it is. You don't have to agree with my points of view, and that's fine. I don't necessarily agree with yours, and that's been made evident and obvious for any number of years now. But I'm still a childhood cancer survivor. I'm still a part of that demographic, whether you want me to be or not. Hell, if I had my way, I wouldn't be. I'd be doing something entirely different. But the survivors, we tend to get shoved to the back. We become irrelevant, which I think is bullshit because we're like the veterans of childhood cancer. 35 years is a long time to be a survivor. But we do get shoved to the back quite a bit. I think it's unfair, really. Because the saying is admire the survivor, fight with the fighter, honor the fallen, or something like that. I don't know. I'm getting it wrong. But it's something along those lines anyway. It's the honor the survivor, or the admire the survivor. That's not a reality. At least not for me. Maybe it's because I'm a grown up now. And, when kids are going through that, because we indulge children as much as we do. And so when we become adults, that kind of fades away. It's like, well, it's not enticing to us anymore because you're an adult now. You're not a child anymore. Which, no shit, Sherlock. Tell me something I don't fucking know. I know I'm an adult. But I can be someone who tells other children what I had gone through. And that was the point of me wanting to get involved in the cause. But there are far too many evil, disgusting, traitorous people within the demographic that I forced myself out. I showed myself to the door. It's like, you know what? If you have questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them, but I'm not going to be a part of a fucking glee club and act superior over everybody else when that is just simply not the case. I've lived through far too much and been through far too much to kowtow to you and to kiss your feet and to grovel at you. It's just not going to happen. And that's what they all want. They all want to be worshipped and adored because, we give special treatment to these little kids, these little warriors. And okay,
You know what I don't,
I get it.
You know what I don't like about St. Jude?
What's that?
All year round, you see St. Jude commercials.
Yeah.
Where's the Shriners commercials? You only see them once in a blue moon.
Yeah, the Shriners commercials are not. Yeah, they're not as prominent as St. Jude. St. Jude is a big hospital. It's a research hospital. So, whereas the Shriners Hospital, I mean, it's a charity organization, but it's not. I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's a research hospital. I don't see. That's something else I'm going to have to look up because I don't want to give out any false information here. We got.
I mean, that's a good question, though.
Yeah.
And while you're looking that up, I got something to say about last night.
Shriners Hospital.
They had fire army jets.
Yeah.
Go over
the Blue Angels, or not? Probably not the Blue Angels.
No, it was just a couple. One from VFW, also, and another person from somewhere else. And they did a flyover.
So, Shriners Hospital is in Tampa, Florida, by what I understand. Keep Milk Tyson away, scamming motherfucker. We partner with top medical research institutions. Okay, so it is a research hospital to develop better treatments. Together, we've made major breakthroughs improving care and quality of life for millions of children. Okay, so it is a research hospital. Okay.
Like I was saying, you would think.
Yeah, we don't hear, they're not as prominent as St. Jude. I think St. Jude is mainly childhood cancer. I think St. Jude is mainly childhood cancer, and that fucking bug is going to drive me nuts. Yeah, because he's buzzing around here and flying in and out of the frame. Yeah, I think St. Jude specializes mainly in childhood cancer, but the Shriners Hospital, they are a research hospital for all kinds of ailments. I mean, I like the two boys on there, Alex and Caleb.
Yes.
Caleb, yeah, yeah. They're cool. They're cool kids. They've been on those commercials for.
Especially Alex.
They've come a long way.
I remember Alex being on there way back in the 90s.
I don't know if he's that old. I don't know if he's that old or not. He might be, but
It looks like he's got dwarfism.
Oh, I think Dad's home.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah.
Oh, see, just before the 4 o'clock mark, Dad comes walking through the door.
And Dad.
Hey, Dad.
I think it's summer. He bought a thing of ice cream.
Alex from the Shriner commercial. His name is Alec.
Oh, Alec.
And he's 19. Oh, he was 19 2 years ago, so he's 21 now.
Wow.
He'd be 21 now. Alec Kabakagan. I don't want to mispronounce his last name, although I just did. Alec, and I think Caleb is the other one. Yep, that's Alec. Alec. Sorry for saying your name wrong, buddy. I thought your name was Alex. It's close to Alex, but it's not Alex. It's Alec. Brittle bone disease, osteogenesis imperfecta, or OI. That's what Alec has. And then Caleb, I think his name is Caleb. Isn't it Caleb? Yeah, Caleb. Yeah. He has osteogenesis imperfecta too. He's broken his bones over 200 times, has undergone 11 surgeries. What a fucking trooper, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Caleb. Yeah, that's his name. Caleb. The other dude. Now, those are two boys I would love to meet in real life. If I ever went, visited the Shriners Hospital, oh, absolutely. I would love to meet Caleb and Alec. Wow. Remarkable children. They are for sure. But the Shriners Hospital, I think they specialize mainly in childhood cancer. That's why we see more of them.
Oh, St. Jude.
Yeah. Right. No, I didn't say St. Jude. I said Shriners, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm tired. It's been a long fucking week. The St. Jude specializes in childhood cancer.
And worrying about Dad, you're probably up in there wee hours of the night.
Well,
listen for Dad.
I mean, I slept pretty soundly overnight, but I do have some, comfort knowing that Dad is making a recovery. But we are at the 4 o'clock hour, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you so much. Man, that hour goes by so fast. See, and we're done with the Sunday video update, and Dad just now comes walking through the door. Damn it, Dad. Damn it. I was hoping you would have been here sooner so you could jump in on the conversation. There's always next week. There's always August 18th. I don't think we have anything planned for August 18th. But as for myself, I'm going to go enjoy the rest of this day. I'm got some more shout out videos to record. and I'm going to do some other stuff on YouTube. But I thank you all so much for watching another installment of the Sunday video update. My name is Jared Fuller, aka Jared Bear. I'll be back next week, Sunday, August 18th at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Amy, any final words?
Peace out.
Peace out
Be safe.
and be safe. Dad, you got anything to say? Do you have anything to say before I wrap this up? No, he has nothing to say. Be good to each other. Spread love and kindness everywhere. Do good things for the right reasons, and you'll never regret it. So, see you next week. Take care. Bye. Ciao. Take care now. Bye bye then.